The sports industry is booming, with valuations reaching $73.5 billion by 2019, and with a major reason for the growth being in sports media. Nowadays, each league has their own TV deal, as well as the individual teams. Media accounts for over $20 billion in sports. In sports broadcasting, things are changing fast, and hopefully this screencast gives a better outlook of what's happening in the current sports landscape. Esports is one of the new industries in sports which is doing exceptionally well. It was recently valued at $493 million in 2017 and estimated to rise to $1.65 billion by 2021. This is a new technological development that's really expanding the reach of sports media and sports broadcasting. Lately, they've had competitions broadcasted on stations like ESPN and Fox Sports, which is really increasing the breadth of the sports world. Additionally, legalized sports gambling, which is expected to generate $213.8 billion in just this year, 2018, is allowing for new shows analyzing betting lines and talking about what's a good bet versus a bad bet, and that's all under sports broadcasting as well. Additionally, streaming allows every single game to be broadcasted, so every single team from every single sport has their own broadcast every single game, which allows for a lot more work in sports broadcasting. Unfortunately, things aren't all rosy in the sports world, though. With issues like the NFL CTE problem and aging viewership overall, some sports are on the downturn. For instance, the NFL had an average viewer age of 50 years old last year. The MLB was even worse, with 57. Pivots to streaming are losing these fans, and there's potential for these sports to go down a path like boxing, which used to be the largest sport in America and now is a very niche sport. So there's a lot of work in those specific areas that might not be there soon. Additionally, cable TV subscriptions are down steadily, decreasing by an average of 2% since 2009. But we're making up for it in other areas like streaming, like esports, and like sports gambling, where the money is still rolling in and the broadcasts are still happening. In terms of outlook for this industry, there's definitely a lot of potential. There's a lot of money floating around right now, but just like everything else, you need to be very pliable. You need to know a lot more about the actual production of the broadcast rather than just being a pretty face with a nice voice nowadays. As people are versatile, they have to be adaptable and doing everything else. There's a lot of jobs due to the explosion of esports, gambling, and streaming, but they're not the same traditional broadcast jobs. So just like pretty much every other industry, you have to be pliable. Tools for learning. Broadcasting is all about preparation, and they say you only use 10% of the research you do for a game on the air. And the same holds true for the industry. So these tools that we use for the screencast, like IBIS World, Hoover, and ONET, are essential to keeping up to date, to see where the industry is trending, and to see how things are looking. And there's my works cited. Hopefully you folks enjoyed my screencast on the sports broadcasting world, and I wish you well in your studies.